1. So this happened about 3 years ago at my first hotel, which I still consider my home hotel. I was still within my first few months at the front desk when my managers asked if I would be down for learning night audit. Knowledge is power, so I agreed to it. Turns out they asked me because one of the auditors was going on a week-long vacation and they needed someone to do coverage, and I had an agreeable attitude. This property was a downtown select service hotel. Being a downtown hotel with 200 plus rooms, they used to staff it pretty heavily, and that included for night audit. They usually had at least 3 people per shift, 1 person to close out the last hour at the bar, 1 person to run the audit, and a person to be an extra set of hands in case something went down, usually the supervisor. In my nights of training, I was regaled and warned of the sketchy doings that happened during the audit hours. For example, the auditor counting down the days to vacation had once let a homeless man have a glass of water, and he took a big mouthful and spit it all over her and the bar. One of the other auditors had seen naked and shamefaced men come down to the desk to get a key multiple times. I got the picture at that point. My first couple nights of running the audit and doing the paperwork went without issue, and we mostly spent the time hanging out with the overnight valet and staying awake by swapping stories and chatting. I almost thought I wouldn't get my own crazy night audit story. I was wrong. This particular night, the shift was me, the supervisor, and the other auditor. I was having to deal with a gentleman who took a particular shine to me and kept asking if items in our grab-and-go were free. They were not. We had some really impressive cookies on a tray in the display case, and he kept trying to haggle me to give him one for free, but I wasn't budging. I absolutely despise haggling. I managed to shoo him back upstairs, and the supervisor took a look at the guest reservation and had a chuckle because they were staying with us at a friends and family rate, and clearly didn't know that if word of their annoying behavior was reported, it could be bad news for whoever gave him the code to get that rate. It was just after 3 a.m., and I had gotten all the paperwork that needed to be printed done and building the audit pack, when the fire panel behind the desk went off and the fire alarm started blaring. I have not experienced the fire drill procedure for the property yet. Do we need to evacuate? The supervisor responds, "Let me go upstairs to check first. I'll call over the radio." And off he went to look. When he went up to the guest floor where the alarm was coming from, he saw a smoky-looking haze in the hallway, and in his words, I was like, "Oh crap, it might be an actual fire." While he was still trying to figure that out, the other auditor and I were downstairs manning the phones and answering guest calls and telling them, "At this point in time, we are still investigating. Yes, come downstairs just to be safe." And then we hear over the radio, "It's not a fire. It's fine. I'm coming down to reset the alarms." "No, you don't have to come downstairs. It's a false alarm." "I know it's loud. Please wait in your room and the alarms will be off shortly." "Yes, the building is safe. You can go back upstairs." "We are so sorry for the disturbance. We are still investigating what happened." Of course, Cookie Monster, the haggling guest, stopped by to ask if I would give him a free cookie for the disturbance. Looking back, I probably could have, but I had no time or energy for his nonsense, so I sent him back upstairs once more, cookieless. I learned how to comp the night for the folks who asked for it, and the shift went pretty quickly after that. It turned out that smoke on that floor came from the particulates of a fire extinguisher. We had a group of dude bros in-house that rented 3 rooms to celebrate one of their buddies turning 21. As people do in my city, they hit up the famously clean street that was filled to the brim with bars. Birthday Boy got absolutely hammered, and after they had all returned from their night of revelry, he decided to play a prank on one of the rooms. He took the fire extinguisher and sprayed it under their door, causing the smoke detectors to go off and the alarms to sound off. Thankfully, no sprinklers. Birthday Boy's room and the room that got sprayed into were evicted once we'd pieced together what had happened. I later encountered the group of guys from the 3rd room, and they were very grateful that all 3 rooms were under different names because us not knowing they were associated with Birthday Boy kept us from kicking them out too. 2. A little background. This happened to me a couple months ago. It was my 3 to 11 at this property. The property had issues with new reservations not updating, only updating with a confirmation number. I come in a little early for my shift and notice 7-3 checking in. Nice lady. I heard her apologizing for something, so I stuck around at the desk without putting my stuff in the bag. 7-3 finishes up the check-in and fills me in. Nice lady had booked with hooking.com and couldn't pull up her reservation, so she called hooking.com and got the issue resolved. They ended up cancelling the reservation on their side, and we just rebooked it for her, copying everything for the previous reservation. The guest was worried that she was going to be charged again because she had already prepaid for her reservation, which was not true. I assured the 7-3 shift person that she did not prepay for reservation, especially if she went through hooking.com. About 15 minutes passed since she got her keys to the room. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling guest services. This is 3 to 11. How can I help you?
Yeah, I got the wrong room type. I was supposed to be getting a 2-bedroom suite for my inconvenience.
At first I was very confused. 7-3 never mentioned a 2-bedroom suite, nor did I hear that during the check-in process. I thought maybe she got a studio instead of a suite. I wasn't too familiar with the room types yet. I apologize, ma'am. Let me take a look at your reservation.
Yeah, you better.
I do see it was booked under a king 1-bedroom, and it looks like that's what you're currently in.
No, I'm supposed to be in a 2-bedroom suite for the inconvenience of waiting for over an hour to check in.
I do apologize for the inconvenience, but unfortunately I do not see that anywhere in my notes. I do, however, still have 7-3 here. If I can put you on for a brief hold, I'll go ask her. Her tone changes.
Okay, yeah, you do that.
I go ask, and she tells me that she rebooked it exactly as it had originally been booked. Thank you so much for holding. I do apologize for the confusion, but after talking to my colleague, it looks like you're in the room type that was agreed.
No, there's no way. Are you the manager?
I would be the AGM. She then asks if I'm the general manager, using their name. No, ma'am, I'm 3 to 11. That would be the general manager. I'm the AGM.
Well, this is unbelievable. What are you going to do for me?
Well, ma'am, the best I can do is move you to a 2-queen suite.
No, I don't want to sleep in the same room as my 7-year-old.
And there it was. The real reason for her complaint? How are you going to bring a 7-year-old with you when you had no intentions of letting her sleep in the same king 1-bedroom suite you booked? Like, what was your plan? To complain until you got a 2-bedroom suite? Nope, not with me. Unfortunately, ma'am, we're sold out of that room type. Again, the best I can do for you is give you a 2-queen suite.
This is unacceptable. How are y'all sold out of that room type? I'm going to file a formal complaint.
Well, ma'am, it's a holiday weekend and people plan ahead and book them all. We weren't sold out of that room type, but hell if she was going to get that room type at hooking.com rate.
Whatever. Can you give me points? Just give me points.
We can certainly do that for you. I told the GSM to give her like 1,000 points at most. She made her daughter sleep on the sleeper sofa after she refused the 2-queen suite. Like, really? I don't think she counted on 7-3 still being here when she called, nor for me to arrive a couple minutes early to hear her check in. 3. Okay, 6.5 hours into a 9-hour shift. I've had a grand total of about 5 check-ins since I started my shift, so it's been slow to say the best. And I work alone. After the housekeepers go home at 3, I'm the only hotel employee on the premises. What tipped me off that something weird was going on is that one of my guests, who has been staying at the hotel for about a month and a half, kept dipping in and out of the small 2-star motel lobby. Eventually, she asks me if she can leave her phone at the front desk for me to watch for a bit. I thought this was odd, but we have cameras everywhere in the lobby, so I nod and I take it and set it on top of a notebook I have off to the side. Nestled behind a pillar so it's out of sight of any other guests, but visible and on camera. Then she dips out of the lobby and her partner comes in, and I get red flags. We'd been getting reports of this guy creeping on staff and other guests for a bit, and had recently warned him that if he messed with anyone again, we'd bar him from the property. He asks if I'd seen his partner, and like any sane person, I said, "Can't say I have." Good old deniability. Anyway, the guy dips out of the lobby and the woman shuffles back in, sniffling. The following conversation goes something like this. "Ma'am, is everything all right?" I was not convinced by this response. "Are you okay? Did he hurt you?" She doesn't answer. "Do you need me to call the police? If he's hurt you, I need to call them." The woman looks torn and goes through her purse. "No, I just... Could you hold on to my purse for a bit?" She's taken out her car keys. I'm suspecting domestic abuse, but with no proof yet, I comply, putting her phone in her purse, with her permission, and putting both in the back office for safekeeping. She fidgets about a bit and begins to suspect that her partner has left in her car, as they have the spare set of keys. They head out to check. I follow behind after grabbing the radio we use to answer calls while away from the desk and my keyring. I follow out to the room where the car is usually parked, and wouldn't you know it, gone. I'm thinking I'm going to have to call the cops after all, when tall and beer gut looms around the corner, the woman's back to him, but I see him coming. "Sir?"
What's going on?
Where's my car?
Where you been at?
The lobby. Where's my car?
Nah, I checked the lobby. Where you been?
It doesn't matter where she's been. Where is her car? Dude looks at me in disgust.
What's this have to do with you?
Sir, where is the car? This goes back and forth for a minute or two, before I have to threaten to call the police on him for theft of property if he doesn't reveal where he took the car and return with the keys. Which loosened him up a bit, and he hands over the keys and gestures to the far side of our tiny parking lot. But we are not yet done, folks. It's only been about 15 minutes into this hour-long debacle. I spend the next 5 minutes escorting this woman on a lap of our lot, her partner accusing me of sleeping with his girl. No car. I let the security for the bar and property know that I have made the decision to bar this man from the property. As I'm failing miserably to describe the fella, he toddles up and starts mouthing off to me and his girlfriend. I inform him that he's being barred from the property, and the bar security comes to my rescue, having dealt with this situation more often than I. They explain that he is being told he can't stay. The woman is the one renting and paying for the room, so if she says he has to go, he goes. She does. So we go and get his stuff. This takes about 10 minutes to get sorted through the month or so of clothes I have, and I help carry his shit to the curb. Bar security escorts the woman to her car. He appears to have waited by the car to retrieve some property from it, and probably get a few last shots in before coming to where I was stood watching his stuff. All said and done, the events took about an hour and a half to conclude. All outside at night in humidity, and what I swear was 90 weather. One guest was ejected with the promise of police if they were seen on sight. I helped move the woman into a new room, so if he did return without us noticing, he would not know where she was. 4. It's been a bit since this happened. Back on Christmas Eve night, pulling over into Christmas Day proper in 2020. But it still makes me shake my head every time I think about it. So the general problem began when this man came in and checked in at 1 a.m. Just needed a room for the night of the eve. Would check out before noon on Christmas Day, him and his wife, paid in cash, and put a card on file for any issues. Everything seemed fine, but I could not shake this feeling of he looks familiar. Sure enough, after 5 minutes of him signing and getting to his room, I search up his name, and wouldn't you know it, he is on our do not rent to lists. Immediately I say, damn it, and just cross my fingers that nothing happens. 2 hours later rolls around. He walks up to the front desk in a tank top and boxers, just no decency for those walking up in the lobby trying to get coffee. Before I can even register that this man isn't even fully clothed, he says,
I need you to help her out. I want her out. She won't stop yelling.
Oh great, here we go. Sure enough, I get my stuff and walk him down to his room where they are arguing about something. She isn't saying anything coherent aside from being angry with him, and the only thing he is responding with is, "Calm down, babe," on repeat. I try to calm them down, only for nothing to really come of it. But within these few moments of back and forth, they finally decide that they are done and just need a cigarette. The man turns to me and apologizes, and I have to give him the business end. "Alright, whatever you guys decide to do, that's fine. I just cannot have you guys arguing like this. We already had problems with you guys before, and I don't want it to come to it again." All I knew is that they had to be escorted out last time for screaming at each other. He nods and says he understands. I thought that would be the end of it, as they come out shortly after, ready to stand outside and be fully clothed. I was about to walk away when the man chimes in.
"You know, I don't fucking appreciate being threatened to getting kicked out."
His tone is now far harsher than his apologetic state he was in not 2 minutes ago. "Excuse me, sir?" I am floored, turning back to him.
"Yeah, you don't get to talk to my wife and I like that."
As much as I wish I could say I made that up, those were the words out of his mouth. It threw me for a loop at the stupidity? Audacity? Either way, I had to make it known that was not okay. "Sir, you know that you are causing a disturbance, and I am giving you another chance." I'll admit I had some anger in my voice.
"Yeah, and it's still fucking bullshit. You do not get to talk to us like that."
At this point I snap. They caused issues before, did so not 10 minutes ago, and now arguing about me giving them another chance to cool their jets, so I was done. "Or you can leave now."
"Ma'am, that's not—"
"Nope, I gave you a shot. You have 15 minutes to get your stuff and leave, or I will call the police to help escort you out."
"Well, that's fucking bull—"
"Or I can call them now. Your choice." The man grows flustered. His wife had already walked out the side door to smoke her cigarette before he elected to start this nonsense.
"Well, I want a refund on the room then."
I merely shake my head. You don't get a refund for causing a disturbance.
"Then we ain't fucking leaving."
"Then I am calling the police."
"Ma'am, that's not—"
At this point, the arguing was going to go nowhere. The others in the lobby hall hearing this were all growing uncomfortable, and I wasn't about to let them deal with this for much longer. With this response, I picked up the phone and called the authorities. As I'm explaining this over the phone, the wife comes in, irate.
What the hell did you say to him?
I don't reply. Things have already escalated to the point of police action, so I merely speak loud enough to hear what I was saying to the officer over the phone. From what the wife was ranting on about, apparently me picking up the phone to call the police spooked him and he just left. Car, room keys and all, just poof, leaving his wife behind, without a way into the room nor a way to leave. From there, things go as one may expect. Police arrive. One keeps the wife occupied as she rants up a storm. I explain that I just need her to get her stuff and leave, if the man was already gone. I wasn't about to give her a key to help herself, as the last thing I want is to have her deadbolt herself in. After a while, her stuff is gathered and she escorted out. Finally, peace and quiet on a lovely Christmas morning. Merry Christmas to all, and I hope they get a ton of coal. 5. Let me start with a little backstory explaining what happened prior to me dealing with this guest. My housekeeper is moving along with her day. She's cleaning the rooms on her list, delivering towels to guests, cleaning hallways, just doing an overall great job. She gets to room 612 on her list, which is due to check out. It's around 10 a.m. and there is a do not disturb hanger on the door. Housekeeping! There is no reply. She enters the room to see there is no luggage, no clothing, lights are off, so she starts cleaning the room as usual. She cleans the bedroom before starting on the bathroom. Once inside the bathroom, she sees that the guest forgot a toothbrush, a tube of toothpaste, and a brand new box of Q-tips. As housekeeping is bagging up the forgotten toiletries to bring down to the lost and found, good old One Ear and his girlfriend return from wherever they were.
What are you doing in my room touching my stuff?
Oops, sorry, I thought you checked out already.
Well, we're not checked out yet.
Okay, sorry, I'll come back later. leaves the room. Here's where I come in. I'm in the lobby, minding my own business, about 5 paces away from the desk. I have no idea what just happened upstairs in room 612. Suddenly, an angry man and his girlfriend come off the elevator. He has a sort of look that he may have spent some time incarcerated. I can't help but notice that his left ear appears to have been chewed off by some sort of animal. He's mumbling something to himself about mother effing bitches hands on my shit. Great. I walk over to the desk and brace myself. Hi, how can I help you?
What time is checkout?
11 a.m.
Then explain to me why this stupid fucking bitch is in my room bagging up my shit with her hands all over my toothbrush. Now I can't use my toothbrush because someone's nasty hands were all over it.
At this point I realize what is going on, and I attempt to explain to him how housekeeping normally operates, and how she would have thought the room was vacant, with toiletries being lost and found items. I can barely get a word in edgewise because he is unleashing one of the most absurd tirades of profanity that I have heard in a long time. I give up and just shut my mouth while he is still going on and on. He absolutely cannot understand why housekeeping would ever be in a room prior to 11. While he keeps berating me and my entire staff, his girlfriend is cowering in the corner of the lobby. She was giving me big beaten woman vibes. Finally, he runs out of steam, and there is a moment of silence. Now's my chance. Is there something I can do for you? Would you like a complimentary toothbrush?
No! I was gonna stay another night, but now I'm never coming back. Fuck this place.
He walks out the door with flinchy girlfriend in tow. Oh, the horror. You will be sorely missed, Mr. One-Ear. I go upstairs to check on my housekeeper and make sure she's okay. She's actually thoroughly unfazed. Then I go into room 612 to see what kind of condition it is in, since One-Ear was so off the freaking rails. Here's where the Q-tip tantrum comes into play. Y'all, after housekeeping left his room and he went back inside, he scattered his entire container of Q-tips all over the room and snapped his toothbrush in half with his bare hands. I literally was crying laughing for a good few minutes picturing this grown-ass tatted-up man throwing Q-tips out of anger to spite a hotel. The Q-tip tantrum looked like something caused by a 3-year-old, and really brightened my day after the verbal abuse I just went through. For what it's worth, I did help housekeeping clean up the mess, and he has of course been placed on a do not rent list. On a serious note though, I hope girlfriend ends up okay. She looked afraid and flinchy. Obviously I don't know their dynamic, but I can confidently say One-Ear is a real piece of shit, and she should probably leave his ass. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, number 53. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Right, it's quiet for the moment. I thought the neighbors had hushed up with the bathroom remodeling they're having done, but no, they're back at it today. But I was sneaky, you see. They disrupted my sleep so much the previous week that I'm now so tired much earlier that I'm just going to bed about midnight, which for me is early. I'd usually be up to about 5, 6 in the morning and sleep through the day. But went to bed at midnight, got a full night's sleep, and I was awake before they started their nonsense, so ha-ha. Your move, bathroom remodeling neighbors. You know, thinking about the story with the gentleman with the Q-tips, I wonder if rather than his ear been bitten off, that maybe his ear was the only good part of him, and it just couldn't stand being with such a poopy head. And so it left, for pastures new. Maybe it'll get a career in Hollywood as a sound engineer or something. Anyway, with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.